Guys, welcome back to the channel. Did you guys just hear about Mob James going off on Keefe? Yes, that's right. On Gangster's Chronicle, Mob James, Mr. James McDonald, goes off on Keefe from the Southside Crips who had something to do with Tupac's demise. Keefe recently said he beat up Buntry. Somebody from the Southside beat up Buntry and Sugeknight in a club. Now Mob James goes off. He says, "You didn't touch my brother. Don't ever bring my brother Buntry into this." He said, "I saw you and your nephew in a car. I showed you respect." Keefe was in a car with his nephew. He didn't say anything to Mob James. He was actually scheduled to do an interview with Mob James to come on Gangster Chronicles, but he wasted their time. He was never gonna do it. It looks like Keefe is actually quite shook on Mr. McDonald right now. James McDonald, aka Mob James, went off on Keefe. He said, "You're not even a gangster." He said your nephew was. He was in the streets hitting people up. But you're not a gangster. You're just a dealer. Yes, Keefe was a big time kingpin dealer. He had a connection. He had a connection to the cartel. But he didn't keep it G. He wasn't even possibly a hardcore gangbanging crip. He was the boss. He was the one wearing fancy clothes that nobody saw. Mob James was literally putting in work in the streets by hand. But Mob James is not on a higher skill than Keefe was. He wasn't making multi-millions that Keefe was. The boss, who was like Sugeknight of the Southside Crips. Mob James said, "Why didn't you say anything when I saw you face to face? Why didn't you do the interview with us?" Because Keefe was quite worried. He wanted security there. He wanted police officers there. He wanted the whole room to be searched for weapons before he sat down face to face with Mob James. Mob James is heated right now. Even the Southside Crips don't mess with Keefe after what he did, put blaming on Orlandoanderson, his nephew, for Tupac's demise. Keefe is working with the feds right now and is hiding behind the screen trying to get views and money. He's acting like a 20-year-old kid. This is insane. Steele was trying to calm down Mr. McDonald, but Mr. McDonald said, "It's time I meet Keefe one-on-one." We know James McDonald's baby mama's from Southside Crips. He has connection. He even said Keefe's nephew is like my nephew. He has a lot of respect for Keefe's son. Keefe's son is friends with Mob James, looks up to him. Keefe knows this. Now Keefe said Mr. McDonald's nothing, Buntry got beat up, the Bloods were no competition. But I believe they were, because the Bloods were rising in the 90s. Now the Southside Crips are feeling a certain way. They've all dismantled, the crews have been broken up, and Keefe still talking. Keefe trying to trigger Mob James. Just like Charleston White did, but it's not working. Mob James is making a lot of money off the podcast. He's doing successful stuff, and Keefe is hating right now. I can't believe this is going down. James McDonald versus Keefe. These guys need to get on the phone. These guys need to piece it out. These two OGs. This is insane stuff. Guys, go watch it right now. Mob James, death row zone, going off on Keefe. Said you weren't a banger. You weren't in the streets of Compton like that. People didn't know your name. You're scared to see me one-on-one. This is crazy. Whose side are you guys on? Mob James and the Bloods, Team Death Row, or you guys still down with Southside Crips? Keefe holding it down. Leave a comment down below. Make sure to like and subscribe, guys. Also share the video with all your friends. Have a great day and peace out.